Hi, my name is Lee Stavros, owner and instructor at drumchops.com, and I'd like to take a few minutes today to talk with you and introduce you to a couple of products that I think are very important to all drummers. As drummers, we are very susceptible to hearing loss due to the volume and the dynamic range and the frequency range that our instrument provides. From the highs of a cymbal crash to the transients of a good snare drum rim shot to the very lows of the bass drum. The drums expand the entire frequency range and go from very soft dynamics of playing with brushes to very high dynamics of playing butt end 2 and 4, banging out a backbeat for rock and metal and what have you. So I think it's very important that we spend a few minutes and talk about our hearing and how we can protect it. I found a couple of products over the course of my years working with drum chops and playing that I think will be of help, and so I wanted to introduce you to them today. And the first, of course, is information. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to have information about this, what causes this kind of hearing loss, and how you can prevent it. And I have this book that's available, and it's called Hear the Music, Hearing Loss Prevention for Musicians. And this is a book that I highly recommend, and it is available on drumchops.com for you. The company that makes this, called Westone, also makes all kinds of hearing protection, earplugs, from the very cheapest kind to they also work or can work with an audiologist who can take molds of your ears, send it to them, they'll make the earplug special for you with the attenuation plug, and that is actually the best form, but that's going to cost you a couple $100. So if you don't want to spend that much but you do care about your hearing and you want to protect it, they have a product called an ER20. And I'll get you a close-up of it here. But basically, what it is it's the top piece is a very soft propylene kind of material that's developed in ridges, a small, medium, and then large. And what you do is you put this in your ear, and it has what we call an attenuator. And the reason why this is much better than the foam kind that you might be able to get at your local sporting goods store is because what this attempts to do, and what it does a pretty good job at, is attenuating the frequencies and the volumes that those frequencies are at, rather than cutting everything. The problem I see with most of the foam earplugs that drummers try is that they say, hey man, I put this in my ear and I can't hear anything. I can't hear my drums, and I just end up playing louder, and everybody else complains. Understood. With this, what it will do is it will just take all the frequencies and just drop them in volume. And that's called attenuation. And that drop in volume lets you hear everything within the kit. You can hear the cymbals, you can hear the bass drum, you can hear the snare drum. It's just at a lower volume that's protecting you. Now, I'm not going to tell you that with these in, your drums are going to sound exactly the same. They're not. And so I have a couple of recommendations for that. One is that you take and you put like a dot on one of them with an indelible marker, and you always use that one in your right ear. This will get these propylene ends configured and kind of formed towards your particular hearing canal. And always put that earplug in your right ear, and over time it will begin to form to your ear, and it will make a better seal. The second thing is, when you start to use these, just use them for practice. Give it a good couple of weeks so that you can understand and get used to how your drums are going to sound with your earplugs in. From that point on, during practice, you should always wear them. If you're in a band, then do the same thing. Start slow. When you're playing with the band at practice, put them in at practice. Don't try and use them at gigs all the time, right at the beginning. Wait until practice sounds normal with these in. Then you can go to the gig, put them in, and you can rest assured that things are going to be better. Now, the one other thing I will say is that when you do get to the gig and you put them in, even if you play like a dinner set or a soft set of music in the beginning, and then you get louder as the night goes on, and what you really want to do is go ahead and leave them out for that first set, I strongly recommend that you don't do that. Put the earplugs in from the start. It will give you a reference point for what your drums and the band sounds like with them in. The volume is going to be, the reference is what you need to mix your volume with the volume of the band. So put them in from the start and go ahead and play the whole night like that. And after a gig or two, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You'll just feel like, okay, this is normal. And you'll be protecting your hearing while you're going ahead and playing normal. Now, a little bit ago, I suggested that you put the dot on one of the plugs so that it forms to your ear canal. Well, at Drum Chops, we're very concerned about the little guys out there, the children who are starting to play drums, and they're at a risk also. And for a long time, we had issues because even though these have smaller, medium, and then large fins, so to speak, they're still a little big for the small ear canals, and this can go for women who play also. If your ear canal is smaller and these don't fit just right, Westone has come up with a product called the Baby Blues, and these are earplugs that are specifically designed for people with small ear canals. That's children, perhaps ladies, even some men who just have smaller ear canals, and these will fit better. It's so important to have a good fit because in order for you to be protected, your entire ear canal needs to be blocked up. And everything going through has to go through the attenuator. These have the same attenuators as the ER20s do. Both are available at drumchops.com, and I really suggest you check them out along with the book. Your hearing is one of the most important things that we can have as a musician. If you lose it, you can't get it back. So check them out. My name is Lou Stavros, owner and instructor at drumchops.com, and we'll see you soon.